Welcome back, everybody. How's it going out there? I know things are a little crazy and everybody's getting stirred up being indoors all day long, but hey, let's open some new Magic products and check it out, and hopefully that'll pass a little time so you won't be quite so bored. I'm not bored. I'm still working like crazy. But anyways, this is the next in the Challenger decks that I've been opening. This is the final adventure one we're going to do next. And let's break in here and check out what's in here. If you've watched my other videos, you know I'm really excited about these decks. I think bang for the buck, they're unbelievable. These are decks that, for the first time, I know they've said this every time, but this is actually the first time that I agree with them that you can actually grab these, buy this deck, take it to a tournament at Friday Night Magic, and actually win some games with it. The Cavalcade Charge especially. Did I just say especially with an X? Wow, I'm tired. Especially the Cavalcade Charge. Wow. Man, I'm starting to become my own grammar Nazi when I get late like this. Anyway, so let's break in here, see what's in here. This one's pretty decent. It's not too bad. The Cavalcade is really the one that would require the least tweaking to actually like just beat up on people at a Friday Night Magic standard kind of tournament setup. But this one here is not too bad at all. So we start off, you see we got a Black Lens Paragon on top. I think there's supposed to be more. Yes, there is. They keep doing that to me. So we got two Knights of the Ebon Legion. This is probably the weakest part of the deck. Not this card, the fact that there's only two of them. There should be four of these. I would definitely recommend adding two more Knights of the Ebon Legions, because this guy is a huge card for this deck. He really does help this deck win a lot more games if you got a play set of him, because he's a 1-drop, 1/2. And then for 1 black and 2 colorless, you give him +3/+3 and Death Touch until end of turn. At the beginning of your end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, put a 1/1 counter on him, and that's permanent. So this guy gets big and out of control and beastly quick. So he's a monster. So I definitely recommend getting 2 more of those to put in this deck if you buy this deck. Next up, we got the Black Lens Paragon. We got 2 of those. He's Flash, and when he enters the battlefield, target knight gains Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. And it doesn't say other target knight, so you can actually target himself. So you can flash him in with Death Touch and Lifelink as a 3/1 for 2, and take out some big creature and gain yourself 3 life in the process. So pretty awesome. And then we got Love Struck Beast, a whole playset. All these cards are actually valuable rares from the set. So this is pretty awesome that they put these many. Yeah, I really can't talk right now. This many valuable rares and stuff in these decks. It's quite astonishing. So Love Struck Beast, if you're not familiar with him, his adventure is 1 green, create a 1/1 green or a 1/1 white human creature token, and then you cast him for 3. He's a 5/5. But he can't attack unless you control a 1/1 creature. But you pop out the 1/1 creature first and then throw him out, and there you go. So he can be a real beast. I mean, he's a Love Struck Beast, but he can be a real beast. So, but they give you a full playset, and that's actually a pretty valuable card. He's still worth a few bucks a piece. So next up, we got the Midnight Reapers. We got a couple of those from Guild's Ravnica rare. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Midnight Reaper deals 1 damage to you, and you draw a card. So card draw is huge, obviously. 1 damage isn't really going to hurt you that much. I'm sure losing the creature hurts more than the 1 damage. So, but the card draw will help, because then you can get another creature. And then this guy, they actually put 2 Murderous Riders in here. Personally, I think there should be 4 in here. I would recommend, just like the Knight of the Ebon Legion, you put 2 more of these in here to really make this deck just beastly. But if you're unfamiliar with Murderous Rider, this is a super valuable rare in Throne of Eldraine. His adventure is 2 black and 1 colorless. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. You lose 2 life. That's any creature, any planeswalker, no matter how big they are. Destroy them. So that's awesome. And then when you cast him out, he's a 2 black and 1 colorless, the same cost as his adventure, but he's got lifelink. And when he dies, you put it on the bottom of your library. And he's a 2/3. So yeah, you lose 2 life killing a creature, but then next turn you cast him out, and then the next turn, hopefully you attack with him, and you get that 2 life back. So there you go. He's awesome. Murderous Rider is one of my favorite cards in Throne of Eldraine. Love that card. And if you didn't see my Throne of Eldraine box opening, look for the one that says like best Throne of Eldraine box ever. I got a regular one, a foil one, and an alternate art one that was miscut or misprinted. I'm not sure. So it's pretty wild. I got 3 Murderous Riders in one box. Crazy. All right, next up we got Find and Finality. The only, well, I won't say only, but definitely one of the very few split cards that's actually usable. This one, so Find is return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. That's very handy for 2 mana. And then Finality is you may put 2 1/1 counters on a creature you control, then all creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. It's expensive, it's 6 drop, but it's a board wipe for anything that's less than 4/4. So as long as your creatures are big enough to where these 2 1/1 counters will help save the smallest one, then you can board wipe pretty much everything, but still have your own creatures out there. So, great card. There's 2 of those, and that's pretty much what I'd keep in there. Here's the other weak point, is there's Vraska in here, but only 1. So, they only put 1 of the good mythics in each of these decks, which is kind of a bummer, but they put so much value in the rare slot in these decks that it's kind of, it makes sense. I mean, you're getting more value out of these decks than you pay for them right now. So, Vraska Golgari Queen. She's a green, black, and 2 colorless. Comes with 4 loyalty counters. Her +2 is you may sacrifice another permanent. If you do, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So you got a creature that's about to die anyway. Why not? Oh, actually, no. You got sorcery speed. I forget. My bad. I'm stupid. Yeah. But anyway, you got a little 1/1 out there. You can gain a life and draw a card from. So that's worth it. Her -3 is destroy target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 3 or less. So that's any permanent, artifact, equipment, whatever. Creature, doesn't matter. So, and then her -9 is you get an emblem with whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. So, yeah, when it comes to the big negative emblem things on these planeswalkers, that one's pretty good. I mean, you win the game. All you got to do is 1 damage, and you win the game. So, there you go. Then we got 2 Castle Lothwains. Really good cards. I really like all the castles from Throne of Eldraine. I think they're very underrated and undervalued right now. I think over time those are going to prove to go up quite a bit. So pretty good card. And then there we go, a Fabled Passage. Fabled Passage is a very valuable card, one of the most valuable rares in Throne of Eldraine. Great card. It's a fetch land that will let you fetch for anything, and as long as you've got 4 or more lands, it comes into play untapped. So amazing card. It's quite phenomenal. They actually put 1 in a couple of these decks, so great job with that one. Then a couple Temple of Malades. Then we got Edgewall Innkeepers. Whenever you cast a creature spell that has an adventure, draw a card. So pretty cool. Every one of these adventure creatures, once you put them into play, you get to draw a card. And a full play set of those. And then speaking of adventures, here's another one. Foulmire Knight. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. And then when you cast him, he's a 1/1 1-drop with Death Touch. So, card advantage plus Death Touch creature, which stops a whole lot of creatures. Doesn't matter how big of a creature they got. They're not coming over if you got a Death Touch sitting there ready to block. Next up is another adventure, Order of Midnight. 1 black and 1 colorless is return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. And then he's a 2-drop, 2/2 flyer that can't block, unfortunately. But if you got the Edgewall Innkeeper out, you get to draw a card when you cast it. So you got a play set of those. Then you got Smitten Swordmasters, your next adventure card. He's a 1 black, you gain X life, and each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of knights you control. And most of the cards in here are knights. Most of the creatures are knights. So, and then he's a 2-drop, 2/1 with lifelink. So great little, bang for the buck card. And you get a play set of those. Then we got Disfigure, a couple of those. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. It's a good weenie killer. Kills some small creatures. And then here's kind of the main basis of the deck, the Lucky Clover. What this does is whenever you cast an adventure, instant, or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. So it doubles all of your adventure spells. So that's pretty awesome. It can get quite out of hand quite quick, especially if you got multiple of these out, and it's only a 2-drop, so you can get it out pretty early. And there's a full play set. So I've seen some people have 2 or 3 of these on the board, and just I mean, think about it. These with the Murderous Rider, you board wipe your opponent, because the Murderous Rider, you got 3 of these out, you're going to kill 4 creatures. 4 of your opponent's creatures. And one for 3 black, or 2 black and 1 colorless mana. So you're going to lose a little bit of life doing it, but you're going to board wipe them so you can go over and just stomp them and win the game. So anyways, Jungle Hollow, you get 3 of those. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 forests, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 swamps. Here's your Vraska emblem. And then we got a human token with humans on both sides, and then 2 more human tokens with humans on both sides. So I guess humans are the only tokens you actually create in here, and then the emblem for Vraska. And look at that. Whenever a creature you control deals damage to a player, that player loses the game. That's amazing. So anyway. So there's your main deck. Like I said, the main downsides are just that there's only 2 Knight of the Ebon Legions and then 2 Murderous Riders. You put a couple more Murderous Riders, a couple more Knights in there, and this deck is beastly. And then your sideboard, actually, I love the sideboard with this one. I think this one's my favorite sideboard out of all the decks because of this little lady right here, Massacre Girl. Massacre Girl is a very valuable a rare from War of the Spark. She is a board wipe on high heels. I mean, so it's a 5-drop, which is a little bit pricey, but she's a 4/4 with Menace, so she's going to get through a lot. But when she enters the battlefield, each other creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Whenever a creature dies this turn, each creature other than Massacre Girl gets -1/-1 until end of turn. So what happens is, if your opponent has a couple 1/1s out, when you cast her, she pops them, and then each one of those triggers this again. So now it's up to like 3/3 against all these creatures. And then like all their 2/2s and 3/3s die, and then pops it up again. So I've seen her do like, 5-6 damage to every creature on the board when she comes out before. Sometimes she'll wipe the whole board and she'll be the only thing left, and she's got Menace. So, I mean, they're not going to be able to cast creatures fast enough to stop you from beating them down with her. So she is a beast. There's 2 of her in the sideboard. I would main deck these for sure. And I'd probably, I might even try and pick up a couple more to put in the main deck because she is just fun. I mean, a lot of the time she will board wipe everything else on the board. And as long as there's at least 1/1/1 out, she'll probably board wipe pretty much everything on the board. So next up we got Cling to Dust. Exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, you gain 3 life. Otherwise, you draw a card. And it does have escape. The escape cost is ridiculous, but it is just a 1-drop for the first time. Life gain is something that you kind of need in this deck. And card draw is something you need all the time. But there's a lot of stuff in this deck that does, you got to pay 2 life or whatever to kill a creature. So the life gain is kind of important, but they only put 1 in the sideboard, which is kind of weird. You got some Duress. You got a play set of Duress. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. If you're wanting to go more of the control route, I would probably main deck those because you get to choose what your opponent can and cannot play. So there's that. Then you got some cool Harpooners with Reach in case you're having trouble with flyers. There's too much text on him to go over. There's, you know what he does. Noxious Grasp, destroy target creature or planeswalker that's white or green. You gain 1 life. Yes, I know I read that backwards. There's 4 of those. So if you're playing a mirror match, so you're against green, then you'll need that. Or if you're playing one of the white life gain decks, one of the Ajani decks, you'll definitely want to main board these. Get rid of those and gain some life. So, and then you got a couple of Thrashing Bronodons. In case you're having problems with artifacts or enchantments, you can get him in there. A little bit of a costly way to get rid of artifacts or enchantments, but you do get a 3/4 creature on the board if you don't need to get rid of an artifact or enchantment, I guess. I don't know. I think personally I'd probably do something cheaper to get rid of artifacts and enchantments. Green has plenty of stuff to get rid of those for a lot less. But there you go. There's the sideboard and the main deck for the Final Adventure Challenger deck from 2020, not Core 2020. The 2020 Challenger decks. So, as you see, great decks. Built really well. A lot of value in here. Unbelievable amount of value, actually. I mean, you get so many rares, and they're good rares. They're not bulk rares. I mean, you get real good rares in these. So there you have it. Let me know what you thought of it. I've got one more to open, the Allied Fires one, and then I'll have opened all 4 of them for you. So we'll get going on that. I'll probably post that one tomorrow night, and I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know what you would do to tweak on this one a little bit. This one does require some tweaking, and it's I mean, it's good enough out of the box to go play for fun at Friday Night Magic against some people and with standard decks and actually kind of hold your own. You might even do pretty decent with it, depending on the type of player pool at the particular store you're at. That is, once all this craziness in the world ends and we can all go back to playing against actual human players and not have to deal with getting booted off of your internet while you're trying to play in the middle of a game in arena. So there's that. So so let me know what you think and what you would do to tweak this deck, and check out a couple more videos while you're here, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot, guys. We really appreciate you watching. Appreciate your time. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.